And we're back. Trying this again. Take number 2. Yo, anyway, man. Welcome to the Yapper, episode number 3. It's a nice little evening here on Tuesday, in Area 47. To my right, I have the beautiful Joanna Simmons as usual, but also I have the legendary, the well-renowned, the well-respected, the Don, you know what I'm saying, the original bad mon, you know what I mean, producer, engineer, you name it, this guy knows how to do it, man. Jasondus.
Man, I didn't even know I could do all those things, but yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
No, man, we're happy you're here, man. I've been wanting to actually interview you for some time. I mean, I know you personally, of course, so I pretty much, I'm sure, know the answer to most of the questions I'm going to ask, but I don't think other people might know a lot of your story as much as I do.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you go a little bit I don't know if you prefer it that way, but sometimes I feel like you go like a, low key, like, I'm on these tracks, my name's popping out here and there, but you know what I mean? People don't really know. You kind of like The Weeknd when you first started out, people don't really know who this guy is that's Dust, but they know you're a beast, Yeah, man. Otherwise wanted to, just have a little bit of a chat. I wanted to start by asking, which again, this is take number 2, so I'm asking again, but anyway. Yeah, so basically what you're watching right now, or if you had to make a recommendation for anyone who's struggling to pick what to watch, what would you suggest?
Okay, I think I'll just go with what I'm watching right now. Currently watching Ted Lasso, or just because they just finished the current season. So I've been watching Ted Lasso. Another thing was Barry and Dave, the Little Dicky show.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
So currently, those are the shows that I've been watching because I think their seasons just started again, but then some of them have just like kind of finished now. So another thing that the season's finished, but I'm actually watching it now is Succession. I don't know if you've seen Succession.
I've heard about it. I think I remember Tuntu telling me a little bit about Succession.
Yeah, it's
but
interesting.
I haven't really tried to watch it, but. He told me it's similar to, I don't know if you watch Billions, but he was saying it's kind of like Billions, but different. It's like money or something related. I don't know how exactly explained it.
I started Billions, but I didn't get far. I think I watched 2 episodes of the first season, so I really don't know the plot.
It's basically about like a guy who's kind of an investor, and he makes a lot of money investing. Like he's a billionaire through investing kind of thing. But obviously he makes like sometimes dodgy deals, sometimes, what's the word? Plays the market, like does kind of the illegal stock market stuff. So maybe he'll buy stock here knowing that it's gonna, like to push the price up or something like that. And then he'll take out all his stock and make money. And then whoever's still left in will lose money, those kind of things. Information, insider trading, I think is what it's called, which is illegal technically.
Yeah.
So
I think I should like persevere and like just try and finish the first season and see if it's as interesting as it sounds. But I've heard a lot of people talk about Billions.
Oh yeah, I mean I tapped out, but I like the actor who was in it. He's a pretty good actor, but I think it was a bit too money finance type, type thing. Yeah, but anyway.
But those are the shows that I'm watching currently.
Pretty cool, pretty awesome. And then the light topic for today is, which I randomly actually saw on Twitter, is does Malawi have celebrities? Like, do we actually have celebrities? Because I think the idea, or there's 2 different ideas. Some people say yes, we do have celebrities, the people that people know, even if we don't go crazy for them when we see them in public. And then there's the people who, other people feel like it's more like there's no celebrities. People are thinking like the idea of like your Drakes, your Caspers, where people are immediately recognizable, people go crazy for them type of thing, girls ripping their shirts off type thing, like Michael Jackson back in the day type thing. So what's your opinion on that? What do you think that we have like celebrities in M-dubs? I should give Joe a chance to talk since we're sharing.
No, actually, I think we do have celebrities in Malawi. If I was to like rack my brain and see what the actual definition of celebrity is, but we definitely do have celebrities, like people that a lot of people know, that a lot of people go crazy for. I mean, Malawi even now has influencers. So,
Yes, true.
so you can, which might not be the same thing, but definitely we've had celebrities. You know, it might be in different. You can be a celebrity, but not necessarily be in, I guess, the media space.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to be in the media.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the media space. So I think
like the president is technically a celeb,
to
right?
to an
Everybody
extent,
knows him,
yeah. So I guess again you'd have to like play around with the definition of celebrity, but I think we've had celebrities in Malawi. Like that's the thing that every place has celebrities. So I definitely agree. We do have celebrities in Malawi.
I was actually googling, so it says. Oh my bad. I was actually googling, so it says. It says a celebrity is a famous person, especially in the entertainment or sport industry. Oh, especially in entertainment or sport. That's what they wanted. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, then
A famous person.
We definitely do have celebrities.
Or a state of being well known is celebrity, I guess.
If we say state of being well known, then we have tons of celebrities.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. What do you think?
I agree with you guys. I mean, also a celebrity has a crowd following, but there's no like real definition like, oh, you have to have X amount of followers. I think if you have like, you can be a small celebrity, like a small group of people that know you, that will always like look what you're getting up to, your newest, be it music or art or sport. Yeah, they'll follow you, repost things, and yeah, I guess that's how people move from being a small celebrity to someone that makes it big, or how we know.
Yeah, I guess so. Being well known, I guess like the general definition is like you have to be well known to everybody, I think, but which is not mostly the case. Like with what Joe said, you could be a celebrity within a specific community. Yeah, so like let's say you're a chef. Like I might not follow like cooking and stuff here in Malawi, but I'm pretty sure that people that do follow that stuff know that these are the top chefs, and like they look at them and like if they met them in person, be like, wow, this is somebody that I look up to. So yeah, we definitely do have like lots of celebrities in Malawi.
Yeah, no, I agree as well, because I think it's just, I think it was also just mostly that thing of people feeling like, okay, you know, people are, I guess again, people might not go crazy for most well-known, like known people in certain spaces in Malawi, but I think the fact that you know them makes them a celebrity. I think I remember Black Isco tweeting the other day that someone like referred to him at a gas station when he was filling up gas as Black Isco, like his stage name, and he was like, oh, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like celebrity, because the guy doesn't personally know him, but maybe he's referring to him by his stage name. Exactly. So he knows him as a rapper, you know, seeing his face around. Or I mean, if you look at someone like Tigran, I think a lot of people know him, for example. We went to the TNM 5G launch.
Oh.
Me and Joanna. So like, I think you know, is it Zeze? So I actually pronounce it Zizi. But I was thinking of the song, you know, that hip hop song.
Hey, Zizi, what's this guy's name again? Man, I forgot the rapper's name.
Kodak Black. Yeah, with Travis and I think Offset. Something like that. Yeah, I think Offset's in the video.
I know the song that you're referring to. But yeah, Zeze Kingston, he's definitely big right now. So
yeah, and like, you know, the thing is, so he was supposed to perform and he actually came on late. Like the time when the MC called him, he didn't come on straight away. Then they had to come on and kind of, you know, make small talk for a few minutes. Then he came on, and so what happens, like where we were standing, because we were kind of in front, we came late, so we had to stand near the frontish where we could find space. Yeah. And then like a bunch of women came like, oh yeah, you know, wanting to take videos when they heard he's coming. And then kind of when he didn't come, they disappeared. And then as soon as he did come back, they came
flocked back
from nowhere, and everyone was with their phones out and, you know, turning around and doing them and everything, man. So I was like, nah, this is celeb status. Like,
yeah, definitely.
People are going crazy for him. That's celeb status. I mean, they might act cool in other spaces, but right there, I could see that these people are starstruck to an extent that is here, and, you know. So obviously that's technically what a celeb is, in my opinion, you know. And yeah, I feel like there's quite a few of them in Malawi. I mean, our country is also pretty small, so I think people know each other pretty well. You know, a lot of tight-knit groups. Yep. So yeah, let me get to some of the questions, you know, that I have prepared here for you. So let's see, what do I have that looks interesting? Okay, I guess let me start with like a typical one, you know. I guess the basic one would be, tell us about your background, you know, how you got started like in music or making beats, and yeah, how did you, I guess, a brief story of how did you go from not making beats to Jasondus as we know you now.
Uh, it's actually pretty typical story. I think
Yeah.
this was back in like secondary school. Just like I think our school used to like organize rap battles. This was St. Patrick's. So
okay.
this is me. Apart from like watching people on TV, seeing people around me can actually rap.
Oh, that's
So,
pretty cool.
Yeah, like initially, as the story always goes, like I thought like I could be a rapper. I wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I don't know what changed later on. I think it was just the thing was like, okay, how do I get better at rap? Somebody's like, okay, listen to rappers, like find your style and stuff. And then somebody put me onto some music. And it was just like in that instance, I was listening. What music was that? It was a lot of underground rap back then. And I just remember listening to certain tracks and just thinking like, whoa, who makes these beats? Because there was a lot of high energy sampled beats. Where
like
I
underground
think,
scene.
yeah, on the underground scene back then. So I was just like, oh damn, like how is this stuff made? Like who's making this stuff? Yeah, so I asked a friend of mine, and then he told me like, I don't know, like yeah, you get a software, and then basically you just put these things together and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. Then let me figure out what software it is. So that's when my friend put me on to FL Studio. But then this was like, I can't even remember. But then the FL that I got, I think at that time was FL6.
Oh, damn, yeah. I think I started with FL6 as well.
Yeah, so it was FL6, and I got the software, and then just like playing around with it. Yeah, it's like terrible. Sounded trash. So yeah, I guess from there, I don't even think like YouTube was a thing back then. It was just like slowly coming up. But then,
What year was that?
man, what year was that? 2009, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, YouTube would have still been very early stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus
Very early stage.
plus I think even like the net that time here was just
Oh yeah,
shambles.
yeah, exactly. Probably didn't even have 3G maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Probably had 3G maybe, but yeah.
yeah, so I think I dabbled with that for a bit until I found a friend of mine that was also making beats. Like he was way advanced. Like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
So I would just like look at him make his stuff, like watch him get some of his projects, see what he's doing, and then slowly, painfully, later on, like things started to sound a bit better.
Started to sound like music. Now.
Yeah, it started to sound like music because that time my early beats, nah,
Yeah.
like you can cringe if you listen to them.
That's the same for everyone usually at the beginning.
Yeah, so I think that's how I got into basically making beats, and then later on, I think when I went to uni, is when I think I was making beats. I had a couple of friends that could rap. So the thing is with our unis, like it was like a bit further from town. So my friends needed studio time. So there was one studio on campus at that point in time, but then it was always booked.
Ah, yeah.
It was always booked. And then, so I think it was just, we got to a point where we're like, oh, you know what? So we knew the guy. So it's like, okay, I can leave you the stuff. You can record whenever, but I'm not going to have time to like work on this stuff. So that's when my friends were like, yeah, man, you can mix this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into mixing as well. It's like I would get tracks from my friends and then just like try and mix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then even before that, I had a friend of mine, V2, who like had a studio. So like I had some prior knowledge of mixing, but not that much. Like not to take a song from like start to finish.
Like the polished and all that.
Yeah. So like that's basically how everything came about, from me wanting to make beats and then me like starting mixing. So but primarily I was just like making beats until we got into that situation like where we needed somebody to mix the music.
Yeah. And that's when you started basically mixing music.
Yeah.
And then it became your thing. Oh man, that's crazy. Because I think when I met you, which was 2015, I think I already knew you as an engineer. I think you were telling me that time that you do mixing and engineering as well. And I remember one of the things about me is like, I've been also messing around with music for a while, but I struggled to kind of figure out mixing for a while because I think my ears just weren't trained enough or trained well, because I know there's a little bit of getting out of that thing of like hearing music that's EQ'd and sounds a certain way, and like you just expect that every song's gonna sound like that. Yeah, so I think when I met you, and I remember at first you said, I was like, oh, okay, I've never really met someone who hasn't done like school or audio like engineering courses or anything, but knows how to mix. And when I remember I just first heard your mixes, I was like, oh wow, does kid really like mix tracks proper, like balance all the stuff proper. You understand EQing and stuff like that, And like again, I've met a lot of people who know like music stuff, but I was like, man, Dust really understands like how these plugins work and what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to affect the sound and stuff. And I've actually learned a lot just from the time we've known each other in terms of mixing myself. Just from the times we've worked on tracks together. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, but with mixing, I think a lot. I think the same with making beats. It was like learning by doing.
Yeah.
And I think when I started mixing, at least by that time, like YouTube was available, and I had like a couple of people that I knew that I could just like refer to in terms of like, okay, what do you use this for? How do I use this and stuff like that? So I've had some people along the way that have also like helped me with stuff like that, because it wasn't like just like a smooth transition. Like, okay, now I can mix. Like I've had to go through tutorials. Like even to this day, I still watch tutorials of mixing.
Yeah, of course, man. You can never stop learning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, that's pretty dope. Okay. You want to do the next question?
Yeah. So, what drew you specifically to the genre of hip hop?
That ties back to my story. Like, because I started listening to rap music. So, because I was already drawn to like the raps and the cadence and the different flows, I was like, yeah, this art form is just something that's very interesting. Of course, later I can admit that I got drawn to like other genres. Like, I'm a big fan of pop because now with the beats and stuff, like the melodies, the catchy melodies is just something that I'm drawn to. So apart from hip hop now, like moving like after that, I got drawn to like different genres. But initially it was because like hip hop was just it for me, especially because of the raps.
Yeah.
So that's what drew me to hip hop.
Cool. All right. I'll do the next one. So, okay, fine. So, I mean, I kind of can answer this, but of course, it's your interview. So, how would you describe your production style, and what do you think makes what sets you apart from other? Well, I mean, I can say other producers maybe in general, and then other producers maybe in Malawi, like in Africa and Malawi. Yeah. And the markets which you're in,
My production style. And
because I think it's distinct, so yeah.
Really? Because I try to experiment a lot, because now where you can have something that's hip hop, but then there's like influences from Afro, influences from pop, influences from grime, influences from like different stuff. So I think I don't know if I can place my production style in like one lane, because like I keep picking up different sounds that I try to like mix to what I make. So like initially, if I said my beats that time, because I was heavily influenced by underground rap, I was trying the whole sampling thing, like chopping up samples and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on is when I was like, let me try my melodies, because I'm hearing things that are more melodic.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're like, okay, melodies are working, but now let's say hip hop is moving towards this direction. You're hearing melodies, but that are chopped up. They're not like dragged out chords.
Oh yeah.
So the progression is different. So I can't say that I have a specific production style, because I definitely know that I pick up things as I hear things that are interesting to me.
But would you say maybe that how can I put it? Like, okay, let's say if someone hears a beat that you've made, is it an intention of yours that they should know that, oh, this is a Dust beat, you know what I mean? Like maybe how someone might hear a beat from Timbaland and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely Timbaland who made that, or that's, this producer made that. Is that something that you aim towards, or something that you feel you have, or?
No, not necessarily. Like I play around with what sounds good or what feels good at that point in time. Like, okay, I've had instances where maybe what genre can I say? Let me try doing something Afro. So I can have like maybe 20 Afro projects in my FL, but then they're just not sounding good to me. Yeah. So if I have one that sounds good, and then that's the one I might shop around to artists or give an artist that I know will do justice to it. So even if it doesn't sound like a Dust beat, but to me, if it sounds good, if this is the Afro that sounds good to me, I can have tons of them in my laptop. But it'll just depend on what sounds good to me, I guess, at the time.
No.
So necessarily, I'm not like aiming towards everybody knowing that, okay, this is specifically what a Jasondus beat sounds like.
Oh, it's supposed to sound like
yeah, because I'm also trying to look at what sounds good, but mostly to me. Yeah, they'll know it's me maybe because if I put my tag on it. But then, again, there was a time where I didn't have my tag, so.
Yes, exactly, true.
So.
Yeah, I'm wondering now whether it's maybe because I know you personally, because I kind of feel, I know Jenna was saying, because I kind of feel like you do have I don't want to say distinctive sound, like you do the same thing each time, so it's like, oh, that's a dust beat, but I mean more in the sense of like, there's certain characteristics which maybe you, I guess, unintentionally put in your beats where it's kind of like, oh, that sounds like something Dust would do in his beat. I mean, I've even found myself hearing other beats which are not produced by you being like, that sounds like something Dust would do because of how I understand, I guess, your beats. But maybe that's because I hear them more frequently, I guess, maybe.
Yeah,
so,
I mean...
So you don't have a distinctive feature that you try putting in all your beats or something like that.
But I get what you're saying, but it could happen like subconsciously where the process that I use with making beats.
Yeah.
So I could find myself that I've made a catchy melody. I'm like, I like this melody, but then okay, what am I doing? Let me go for those hi-hats that I like.
Yeah.
This is that swing that I like. This will go good with this.
That's what
let me go for those drums, and then unless when I'm trying to do something different, that's maybe when the pattern, the process would change. But usually, I think it's usually the same when like I'm working on beats.
Well, yeah, true. Because I think it's more your hip hop beats. Because if I think of like your R&B stuff or your Afro stuff, definitely, that doesn't sound like stuff that like, oh yeah, that sounds like Dust. I wouldn't know if I didn't hear your tag or if you didn't tell me. But yeah, I think definitely the hip hop beats. Like I remember I put on my IG yesterday. I just randomly was going through my Instagram, like old Instagram, and I stumbled upon like 2015 or 16, whatever year that was. No, it was 2018. I don't know what year it was, but then when you did the song with Paris and Hayes, and I was just like, man, this, I was just remembering how dope that beat was, and I was like, dude, why am I not listening to this now? Because this is still like the shit now, But yeah, it's just, I guess, that thing of, and sorry, anyway, my point was just to say, like, that beat reminded me of that distinct thing that your beats have, where it's like, I don't know, the way you put your melodies together with your drums, especially compared, I guess, maybe to me as a producer as well, because it's very different from how I do it. I don't know, it's something that's very, like, smooth about it, very, I don't know, very, like, laid back, but not, you know what I mean? Even, like, Lakes, the one that I remember, like, when I was looking for one more track for my tape, and then I remember I heard Lakes when you played it. It was that same thing of where the melody and the way the beat, the way the drums catch it is just, I don't know how to explain it, man. But yeah, it's pretty dope, pretty dope.
Yeah.
Alright. You want to do the next one?
So, can you walk us through like your creative process of making a hip hop track? Like, what steps do you typically take from start to finish? I mean, you don't need to go through your your secrets, but yeah.
Nah, no secrets, but man, trial and error, man. Because I think like I've been asked this, but just so that people know, like I'm really not familiar with like playing instruments. I can't play a piano and stuff because I know how to program music. I know what sounds good. So when I jump into the software, like I can bring up a synth, I can bring up stuff, but then because I'm not familiar with chords and stuff like that, I know what I want to play, and then I try get to that sound. Yeah. So sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it doesn't take longer because now I'm used to my process. So yeah, I just go to the DAW that I use, FL Studio. I pull up an instrument because I usually start with my melodies. And then, just play around until I see what sounds good. Nowadays, what I like is because so if your thing's not sounding the same, I just like to manipulate sounds. So I pull up something, do a melody, and then I start playing like putting effects on it, reversing it, chopping it up, stuff like that. And then from there, I guess the drums, I can't say the simple parts, but yeah, once I'm done with like layering melodies, and then I just put on a couple of hi-hat swings, a drum. But 808s have been a thing that I feel like I'm not that good at them. Because even there was a time where like whenever I have a beat, I'd send it to you. Where I was like, dude, like put 808s on this thing. Because like I know mine are going to sound trash. So like still till this day, I do beats with 808s, but I think the 808 patterns are very minimal. But then that's basically the process.
Oh, cool. Interesting. Yeah, no, because yeah, I guess because I know, like, as a producer myself, that producers have different ways that they start kind of making the beats. Like, some start with the drums first, some start with the melodies first. Yeah, I guess kind of everyone does it differently. But yeah, from what you're saying, basically yours is kind of melodies first, and then the drums come later for you because you feel the melody takes longer, and the drums would be slightly easier for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, pretty dope. Yeah, no, with 808s, I don't know, man. 808s is just picking the right drum sample, man. It's the same thing in terms of like melodies for me, because sometimes I'll hear your melodies and I'll be like, I can't make catchy melodies like this, or I don't feel my melodies are as catchy as yours, for example. So maybe sometimes just being in your head, because you'll be like, nah, man, it's fine. And then same thing about your 808. Sometimes your 808s are like, just fine, But yeah, I think a lot of the times with 808 it's just about picking the right drum sample. The right sample of 808, like that, I guess the tone that fits the beat, so to speak. Because it's something which I also find myself sometimes I have to go through like 10 different 808 sounds until I'm like, okay, that's the one that fits this specific beat. Because not every 808 is going to work on each beat. Yeah,
but I think for me it's not like the sound per se, because I can have the right
like tone and everything.
Yeah, but then I think it's like layering it with the melody, because it's like another instrument. It's not just like a drum on its own. You also want it to have rhythm.
Yeah, like melody, like kind of like a bass drum.
Yeah, exactly.
Bass guitar almost.
Exactly. So you want to play around with with the 808, so that it's not just like a flat bass that's going continuous.
Oh, word! I hear
so that for me, I don't know why. That's the part where I find like
a bit.
It doesn't sound as good as it can sound.
Ah, okay. But then your sub basses are crazy though. Like your sub basses are dope.
I don't know.
I know sub basses are different 808s, but just say your sub basses are like dope. Though.
I can with the bass, I can hear, because this is like it's like a note. It's a note that I can easily know how to program to fit the melodies that I have. While as 808s, although there are notes that you can also program to fit the melody, but then they're a drum on their own.
Yeah.
So that's
a bit tricky.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe you think of it as an engineer. You're like, how is this going to work in the mix? So I don't know. No, I'm joking. Probably you're just talking about the notes, I guess, in terms of
exactly
playing around with going up and down. Okay, cool. I totally get that. What did I want to ask next? Okay, which question looks interesting? Can't ask all of them. Okay, kind of really asked that. Okay, fine. That's an interesting one. Have you ever had an interesting or memorable experience when you've been working with an artist? So, like, like an interesting studio session, or interesting, anything like kind of like, oh, this is a dope session. I don't know. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I've had tons of those, like lots of interesting sessions. But I think in terms of working with an artist, I think I'd have to single out Eminent. Yeah, the guy that used to be part of Homegrown.
I remember,
yeah. So before it was Classic and Hayes, there was like 3 of them. So it was Eminent, Classic, and Hayes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just because of his process and how he created music.
Yeah,
it was just so interesting to me.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so like he was a producer. He's a producer as well.
Yeah.
So would work on beats together most of the time, but then when it came to like coming up with a song, he was one of those guys where like, which was different, because obviously like I make a beat, I make artists listen to it, they come up with a song and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was for him being a producer and an artist as well, would work on a beat, or he would bring a beat and say like, dude, I've gotten this far, like do something to it.
Yeah.
And then in that same session, he would just be on the corner like now coming up with like melodies for a song.
Yeah.
And that's how most of the songs that he did or with Homegrown got created. So he was one of those people that like, okay, load it up, I've got this idea.
Yeah.
Load it up, I've got this idea. And he would just save stuff like that until he makes a complete song. And that's, for me, that's an interesting process of how an artist works.
Like piece by piece.
Piece by piece.
But different days.
On different days, and even as the beat is being created, you'll be there like, okay, like let's remove this melody because I think my vocals sound better if it's used like this. And that's what we'll put instead of that. And then like literally just bit by bit. Yeah. So that's, I think my sessions with him were like very, very interesting. Especially the fact that back then we didn't even have the equipment like that.
Yeah,
So
true,
he
yeah.
would we didn't have like a actual mic, so it was one of those things where we would use like a headphone to like record through, like those old PCs where it had both the input jack and also the output jack. So we would record through the input jack. So it wasn't one of those audio interface mic lines in and out stuff. No, FL Studio, open it up, record input jack, and then he's just like harmonizing his stuff, melodies, rapping, and then that's the process.
Damn, that is insane. That's crazy to hear, man. Wow. Now, because I've met Eminem, and he's one of those few people that you meet and you're like, this guy's a musical genius. Like,
super talented.
I don't know how to explain it, but just from the little time that I haven't even spent a lot of time with him in studio, but just oops, my phone almost went there. Just the little bit of time I've spent with him in the studio, like. I think there's one or two beats that you played me of his that he had kind of come, and I remember he used to do that thing where you would come through, like just start a beat on your PC and like, make it and then just kind of like leave and it's like half done or it's done and it's like, that's it and the beat's amazing, but you don't see him for weeks or he just starts an idea.
That's how it used to work. Like he used to just jump to the next idea. Like one of those people where you'd actually have to sit him down like, no, dog, like this project is dope. Let's finish this one first.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to like finishing because like you just leave bits and pieces. Yeah. So yeah, that was...
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, you can do another one.
Yeah. So as a producer, what do you think is like the key ingredient, if I can put it like that, to make you like stand out to listeners, to the crowd, like how you want to put yourself out there for people to listen?
Okay, so music wise, I guess okay, from my point of view, I think it's just like staying up to date and listening. It doesn't always have to be recent music, but just listening to things that like interest you, because that's what's gonna separate you to an extent. Because people are different. Like what sounds good to me is not gonna sound good to maybe Doomy, but then at the same time, what sounds good to me, I can imagine that there's a lot of people that have similar tastes as me, and they're gonna resonate towards my music because they like the same thing. And because I got that, because I can listen to a song and Doomy can listen to a song, and then even within the instrumentation, he can pick up something different. Like, whoa, this is what's crazy about this song, this chord. Somebody else can go like, no, it's the bass line. No, somebody says it's the drums. So just by listening to different types of music, you just incorporate all that, but then through you, like what sounds good to you. Your interpretation of like what sounds good, and at the same time that also resonates with people that like have similar tastes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like whenever I just try to, although now like I guess with time I don't listen to as much music as I used to, but like I still find myself listening to a song and be like, damn, why didn't I make this beat? So things like that.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, how do you approach collaborating with artists? What makes like a good relationship between producer, artist?
Okay, for me, I've always been open to collaborations. I think I've just been fortunate enough that most of the people that I also collaborate with are professional. So aside from the fact that maybe I know most of the people that I collaborate with and like we're friends outside of the music, but even if like I met them for the first time, the fact that they come with that professional approach makes it easier to collaborate, because it just shows that, okay, I value what you're doing, you're going to help me with what I'm doing, and then we can make something that's dope, as opposed to, I've met people that like come through and you can literally see that, okay, this person is here to waste my time. And like you wouldn't want to work with somebody like that again. But so my approach to collaboration is like, we're all here to make something that sounds good, but then you still have to be professional about it in the way that you're working, and it does help to make sure that you're good with people. You're good around people, and you're not. I know other people like are more introverted, so they might be in a session and not want the whole. But then they can also be good if it's one-on-one conversation and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, be good with people and keep it professional. And that makes collaborating way easier, as opposed to somebody coming through and saying like, yo, even if it's a collaboration. But even if somebody paying you, like, okay, dude, I'm paying you to do this. This is your job, but you don't have to be like some type of way about it, like showing you that I own you now. You have to work in my schedule. This is how I do my things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna want to work with that person again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you. I mean, I agree with you. I've been, lucky enough to work with you, of course, and yeah, I would say like I can definitely vouch for the fact that you keep your sessions very professional. I think with the artist, I think maybe because you value your personal time, so maybe just wants to go watch movies and can this guy get his stuff done? So I'm joking,
gotta wrap up.
No, but yeah, you keep it professional, but I would say lighthearted as well. Like I've never felt like it's stress in the studio with you, but at the same time, yeah, I've never felt like it's also like I don't know. I mean, obviously as a producer, maybe it's a bit different, but I definitely see that you value taking things in a professional manner. Alrighty, what was I gonna ask next? I had a good one. Where was I lost it. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, it's still a good question, I think. So have you ever had a time when you've had producer's block or creative block, and how do you overcome that when it happens?
Man, all the damn time. And I figured out the way to just overcome it is just open up the software and just get to start playing around.
Like power through it?
Yeah, just power through it. Because, okay, there are times where like I'm super creative, and then like every time I open, like something is coming up.
Yes. Yeah,
something is coming. I can create like effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess there are times where maybe I haven't like even created it for like weeks. And even like it's a mental thing where I'm like, damn, I haven't touched this software for like weeks. I'm pretty sure the next thing that I'm gonna make is gonna sound like ass.
Oh, so it's like you're daunting.
Yeah, so I'm like, should I even? Software. But as soon as I like open up the software, okay, the first thing might sound bad, but I've like got an idea of something. Like I've done something new, even though it sounds bad. And I might visit that same thing a couple of weeks later, like some days later. I'm like, I just need to change this, but this is good. So it's just literally just power through it.
Oh man, okay, interesting.
But then I guess there are times where, like I said, I have super creative weeks, months, and then like I just feel like burn out, and I'm just like, okay, I can continue creating, but let me just step back for a minute and just like chill, because like I've made a lot of beats, so I'm okay right now with
what you have.
with what I have. Let me just see what we can make in terms of songs with these things, and then I can come back to making beats later. But then again, there are those periods where I haven't made beats in a long time, and I'm like, damn, would anything that I make now sound good?
Yeah.
Yes, but then it's just have to open the software and then see what comes out of that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay, I was gonna ask like, because I know I'm a little bit different in that regard, only in the sense that, like, a lot of the time I need inspiration for me to feel creative or to feel like I need to create. But I also get what you mean in terms of, it's always good in terms of anything you're doing that's. When I say productive, I don't mean, only production. I just mean productive in the sense of doing something work related and you're trying to get an end result output at the end. It's always good to have a routine, because that kind of helps you that, okay, fine, when you need to get something done, you're already comfortable or used to the routine of what you need to do to get it done, rather than having to be like, okay, fine, I'm not used to this. I know I need to make a beat, but okay, I haven't made a beat for weeks, like you said, where do I start? Kind of as opposed to, okay, fine, I want to make a beat. I've been making beats every single day, so I know exactly where I'm going to start, type thing. But I was going to ask to say, like, do you feel like do you need inspiration necessarily, or, to feel like, okay, you're inspired or motivated in order for you to, like, make dope beats? Or is it just, you feel like you can, as long as you're working, and you're touching the software, you might end up with something creative?
I think the last part, because there are times where I'm like, okay, I need to feel inspired. I need to hear something that, like, can like get that fire out of me. But then I realized that there were times where even I'm like, okay, like I said, I draw inspiration through different things that people are doing music wise. Let me try listening to music to get inspired. And I listen to what's out there and I'm like, damn, this stuff it's not inspiring. So, but I still need to make something. I still want to create
something.
So that's
you
want
to make something to inspire yourself.
Yeah. So that's why I ended up on the idea that, like, just open the software, because you never, especially with like being a producer, you never know what's going to inspire you. Because like me, I just like, I just like go through browsing sounds, and you
might
never know.
inspire
You never know what sound's gonna inspire you. You just start something with the weirdest sound, and then you just build from there.
And you might accidentally hit a chord that you're like, whoa,
Yeah,
that sounds nice.
yeah,
in
that
this
sounds
instrument.
nice. So yeah, necessarily you don't always need to get inspired because
True.
you might wait to get inspired, and that might take like a long time when you feel like, okay, I need to be creating now.
Yeah.
Because there are times where like people do music because they're inspired, but then there are times where like, okay, I feel like I need to create stuff now. Like let's say, for example, I meet an artist and then their sound is a bit different from what I usually do. But then they like, I feel like we can really make something dope and we can work.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I'm like, okay, bet, don't worry. Let me work on some things and I'll send you some beats. And I'm listening to the beats that I already have. Like, no, nothing fits the pocket that he jumps in. Right? So now I need to create something, but I'm not inspired.
So it's like,
So I'm not gonna. I've gotten this interaction with this artist now, so I'm not gonna wait for like a month until inspiration hits me. I might lose whatever we have now in terms of creating something.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me just jump in, see. It might not be the thing that works then, because I'll create maybe like 5 beats. They might not all be good. They might all be good. Send them. He might not like any of them. She might not like any of them.
Yeah.
We can still move on from there later on. But then I've created something regardless.
Yeah.
And we might still get inspired from what I've created.
Yeah, true.
So that's what the inspiration for maybe further music might come from.
Oh, okay,
But
I
necessarily
get
to wait for inspiration, nah, man,
Can't always wait.
that might never come.
you. Yeah, true. Nah, I definitely get you. Yeah, no, that's true. I think, I mean, for myself personally, I think it's something I need to figure out to strike as a balance. So that's an interesting answer. I need to definitely, reassess my process maybe. Okay, so where's the other one? Okay, fine. What misconceptions or stereotypes, takes, wrong ideas do people have about hip hop or Malawian hip hop or producers that you want to debunk, or like, you want to not clarify but clear the air, like, nah, that's, I know a lot of people think that's how it works for producers or whatever, but that's not how it is. Any myths or any,
Nah, I don't think it's a myth per se, but then I guess it's just again, it goes back to like being professional with the people that you're working with. I think I'm just going to build around that concept. It's just that the idea that whatever this person is doing, let's say in production, is easy or not easy per se, but it doesn't come with that much value. So I think it's a problem, but it's a problem per se with maybe, I guess, the perception of the industry here. So it might not only be production. There's certain not industries, but like certain other creative things, like a designer per se.
Yeah.
You might have the same problem. Like somebody can look at somebody and ask him, hey, give me a logo. How much is it worth? They give you a price. And you're like, man, this thing? You're charging me this thing? Like, but dude, the process behind even designing something. Because I've tried to dabble with design. But just to get to the point where you can come up with something like that. Yeah. So again, it's not like something I'm trying to debunk, but it's just something that I've viewed where people come with, it's not all people, but certain people might come with that attitude when they're trying to work with creatives, where they're like, man, this is what you do. I'm pretty sure it's like, just put a few things together and you're done. But why the delay? Why the charging? Why the stuff like that? But yeah. So that's one of the things where I think people need to be more mindful about when they're working with creatives, because just to even get to the point to understand how things work in a certain space, like production, engineering, design, or being able to edit and work with video and stuff like that.
Like having respect for the field and the art itself.
Exactly. Like that's because even me being a producer and somebody that can mix audio, give me video to chop up and work with dog. I cry because I'm like, I can't do this.
You don't even know.
Like, how do people do this?
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing.
I get you. That's one.
Can you share like an interesting or memorable experience, that you had while producing with an artist? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
one did
that
you
was
want?
that was the eminent one.
That's number 8.
I feel like you're looking at the wrong one, maybe. Let's see. Go back. Like back. From the message. Go out of the message.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, how do you strike a balance between commercial success and artist integrity in your productions? Is there a conflict between the two for you?
Man, no, I don't think so. Plus, also, what is commercial success?
Okay.
If we think about
I
it,
can explain maybe the question a bit. Like, I think in the sense of, okay, maybe what she means is, what the question means is like, there's that thing of like what you're saying about underground music or underground hip hop. So there's that difference between, okay, I don't know. Okay, I'm thinking of old school underground people. Yeah, was it old school? Anyway, whatever. People like Talib Kweli, Tribe Called Quest back then. Common, those kind of people, and then obviously versus from the same era, you have your BIGs, your Tupacs. Those guys would be considered commercial, like hip hop, commercial music, as opposed to maybe the Common, who might be considered like more underground because he's making more, I guess, what's not in tune with the popular sound, if you know what I mean. So I think the question is, like, how do you strike that balance between artistic integrity and, making sure that your tracks are still going to hit radio, still going to be popular, still going to get streams, still going to be listened to? Or is it something which you don't need to worry about? Like maybe like Drake, he's like, whatever I touch is going to be streamed anyway, even if I do you know what I mean? Even if I do a beef track, if Drake does spoken word, it's probably going to still get 1 billion streams, you know what I mean? So yeah, that kind of thing. Like, do you feel is that, situation for you, or it's not something you deal with?
nah, I don't think it's something that like I deal with or even struggle with or even think about, because I like the music that I do or the music that I work on. Work on. So to an extent, I guess only later on is when maybe some sort of validation came in, like, oh yeah, this stuff is good, and realizing that, okay, there are people that actually like the music that I make. So regardless, at the end of the day, I'm working on projects and like listening to them and bringing them out because I like how they sound.
Yeah.
There are times where where you want to work with a certain, like, where you want to work with a certain artist, so you have to like work on your sound a bit, just because they know that they're trying to reach, or they're trying to work on something commercial. They're like trying to push it to the radio, or that's the type of sound that they do, or that they work on. So you might have to like
make sure that you're fitting that.
You're fitting. So, but then for me, that's not a problem. If it's somebody reaches out and say, can we work on something together? This is the sound. Can I make this, or can I help work on this? Yeah, that's fine with me. Like, if I can do it, I tell them like, okay, cool, let's work. And along the way, you also like learn different aspects of like, I guess like music and artistry from that person.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if it's like the music that I release, I guess with most of the people that I work with, like on a regular basis, it's just a matter of, bringing out music that we like and what sounds good to us per se. Because obviously there's a lot that goes on to making a song or project, like making it like commercially successful. So like nowadays, it's not the song itself.
Oh yes, true. Okay, I get
the song. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you can have a song, and the song will go far. It will carry itself. But then we just try not to worry about that part. I'm not saying it's not important. Like, we try and invest in that aspect of it as well. But knowing that the base of it is making a song that we like, and that people will also like it.
Yeah.
But then so there's not that much of a balance. Like, if we had it any other way, we would push every song that we bring out because we like it. There's no point in time where we're like, no, dog, we need to make this a hit, and then this is where we're gonna like put all the marketing and promotion and all this stuff in. Like, we feel like that for every song. Every song that we drop, we're like, dog, this sounds hard.
This is the single.
Oh, this is dope. No, like, because we like it.
Yeah. Nah, that's dope, man. That's actually a dope response. Because I think I mean, I agree as well. I think it's important to. I mean, yeah, I guess it's also that thing of like, why are you doing it at the end of the day? Are you doing it because you want to get just success, or are you doing it because of the love of the art? And if you do it for the love of the art, then I guess whatever you're doing is if you love it, then that's what matters. And then it's like, oh, you like it too? You want to pay money for it? Cool. I don't mind. I mean,
Yeah, but
so
like,
yeah, type of
like
thing.
I'm saying, don't get me wrong, because like the other aspect of it is also important. Like you might be a person that's doing it for yourself, but then at the end of the day, making sure that you grow as an artist, making sure that you're able to expose your art to other people is also very important, because you might be limiting yourself from the artist that you might become, the producer that you might become, just because you are like, okay, no, this is a song that we like, and we're just gonna leave it at that. Whatever happens, happens. If you have the capability, the know-how, or the resources to push it out, to make more people listen to it, that's also very important. That aspect of it is very important, because that also will build you as an artist. You don't know who you are as an artist until you put yourself in different spaces. You think you're a dope artist now because maybe you've got a few thousand people listening to you, but what happens when tens of thousands of people are listening to you? What happens to hundreds of thousands of people listening to you? What are the messages that they're coming across to you about your music? That might make you change the way you might want to make music. And then from there, you like advance, you grow. So don't just try and stick yourself in a bubble like, yeah, this is the music that we make, this is how it's going to come out, that's it. Now, if you got the opportunity, like, make sure you can make it successful.
Good point. Because I guess even resource-wise as well, like, I'm just thinking, obviously, like Kanye, for example, just a random example, but yeah, his first album, how obviously he needed to kind of prove to people that he's a rapper and can make it and all that stuff, so obviously he wouldn't have had access to resources, versus when he was doing, like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, booked out a studio in Hawaii like 24/7 pretty much, was flying people like we know how many artists are on that album. Each one of them was flown out to Hawaii to record there specifically because we wanted to keep it secretive and keep that vibe, and you know what I mean. So it's kind of
that's
like
one of his that's
because
a dope album.
Yeah, because I guess so. Your point is he exposed
allowed
himself
him to be able to
become bigger and have more resources.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a good point. I never really thought about it like that, but that's a really, really good point. I think, I don't know. I think I'm pretty done with questions, but I guess random producer questions would be, if you had a pick, what's your favorite orchestral instrument?
Man.
And then what's your favorite synth, like plug-in synth?
Orchestral instrument, it would have to be Rhodes.
Rhodes?
Okay. I like the Rhodes sound, I think. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. I mean like specific instrument. Oh, the Rhodes. You meaning the key? The key. Oh, okay, cool. The Rhodes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the ones that I think.
I don't know why in my head I was thinking of the Roland. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of drum machine videos recently, so I was thinking Roland when you said Rhodes. It's like, why is he mentioning a beat machine? No, sorry. Yes, the Rhodes. I know you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, the Rhodes. Synth plugin. Man. So, I guess Omnisphere people, because like I have like a ton of bands with Omnisphere, so like I find myself going back to it. But what is this? There's this plugin by Analog Lab. Analog Lab 5. I think, is it called Analog Lab, or is that just the?
I'm wondering if that's the name.
If the company, I think that's the company that makes it.
Oh.
No,
I definitely have a plugin. I think it's called. Isn't it called Analog Lab?
I think it's called Analog Lab. Yeah, that one. Yeah,
I know the
that
plugin.
one. I think that's one. Like, I like the sounds in that one, so I can say for now that's like my favorite.
Oh, cool. Dope. Yeah, definitely a dope instrument there. Cool, man. I mean, I think we've had a dope interview. You know what I mean? We really enjoyed having you here. I'm hoping that a lot of people got a chance to learn, something about. We'll get a chance, or have got a chance now by listening to the podcast. That is. A chance to like know a bit more about Dust, and maybe appreciate you a bit more as an artist if they didn't already, or a bit more as a producer rather. Sorry, if they didn't already. Do you have any closing remarks, or Joe? Do you have any last questions? Any last things you want to say?
I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything to ask, but yeah, thank you for joining us on the Yappa.
It's like a conversation with me and Dust.
But yeah, man, thank you for having me. It was actually pretty interesting because, like I said, I don't think I've really
been
been interviewed
before, yeah.
before. Like I've had people ask me these questions,
Yeah.
but not like one after the other. Like I'll just get maybe 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and maybe it'll be like production related if I'm working with artists or other producers. It might. Or other people that know me might ask me about, okay, yeah, how did you get into this stuff? So I've had these questions before.
Or just in chats.
But not like, yeah, just in chats. So yeah, this is interesting, man.
I mean, I even learned a little bit because I don't think I knew about the beginning story, like the origin story. You know how they have the movie for the, or they have the movie for the superhero, the origin. How did he, I really didn't know the story before that. I think about how you got into mixing and stuff. I think I knew the basic story of like in uni. Dali and them, whatever, you guys were rapping. And yeah, so I knew that basic story, and I obviously knew you. Yeah, I knew Eminent, had worked a bit with Homegrown, with Hayes and Classic. And yeah, I just knew that basic story, like, that's pretty much how you started. But I didn't really know, like, how you came across it and all that stuff. So that was pretty interesting, even as a homie of yours, just to learn. And, I mean, I find it crazy that you haven't been interviewed. I'm surprised, but I guess maybe it's because... I don't know. I guess a lot of people also, yeah, you said people know you, then they've asked you, so it's kind of like they know, so they don't feel they need to, But I don't think the general public knows. You know what I mean? A lot of the dust. And the thing is, you've also like worked on a lot of artists and stuff. Like I mean, yeah, like what Hayes, Swisher, Kim of Diamonds. That is, man. There's other ones I'm even forgetting now. Haven't you worked with? You've worked with Isaiah? Yeah, no Isaiah music, no. Yes, no.
No, not specifically on his track, but we worked together on a track. I think it was a Salio track.
Oh, okay, fine. You've worked with Salio, I know that. KGB, no.
No, I worked with KGB.
Wait, who am I? Oh no. Wait, which one am I thinking? Oh no, okay, I know you've worked with Classic, Hayes. Obviously, I think I mentioned those already. Man, I'm forgetting names. Okay, Cynic, of course. You've worked with Larry. You've worked with me, of course. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, actually, yeah. Tell us a few of the other names that you've worked with that maybe I know I'm forgetting a lot, but artists that you've worked with. Just give us a few names just so that people know, in case they forgot.
Man, you've already mentioned, like, I think a good portion of the people that I've worked with. Now,
but there's more. I mean, what? There's Pablo. I'm just remembering now.
There's a lot more, but I don't want to be put in a situation where like I forget a name and then it's like,
oh, you didn't mention it.
Like our session wasn't as memorable. Come on, man.
You didn't mention it.
Yeah, man. Like, nah, we just leave it at that. But then, there's a lot of people that I've been fortunate enough to work with, and yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, you've been in a lot of also interesting sessions, even just as an engineer as well, which is also, I know about that just from stories that you've told me and stuff like that. So, hey, man, I mean, hopefully I'll get to interview you again maybe in like 5 years, and it'll be, there'll be different stuff to talk about and ask at that point. But yeah, this has been a dope chat, man.
Yeah.
A really, really dope chat.
Very, very eventful. I think, like I said, for me, I don't know what happens. Like, I think whenever there's like a chance for an actual interview, something conveniently happmes where like
you can't be interviewed.
I can't be interviewed because there's like we're talking about the radio stuff, those times with Team Vinny, and I think there's like been a couple of other chances that had come up or have come up, but like something always like literally just comes up. Because even like with this one, we're supposed to do this starting from last year and then even earlier this year. It's like something always comes up when it comes to like, okay, let's sit down and have a chat.
That's 100% true, actually, because we were supposed to do this like 3 weeks ago, I think, originally, and then like you said, last year before that. So I mean, at least we got to do it now. We finally got it, I don't know what made me just wake up yesterday, or not wake up, but just kind of be like, tomorrow's Tuesday, I'm not really doing much. Why don't we do that podcast with us that I've been planning to do for a while, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, like, again, just, repeating myself, but just so glad you came, man, and until next time, brother.
Until next time, this is The Yapper.
Yeah, peace. And that's it, guys, that's it. That's how was that?